we untangle the complexities of the business world. How are you doing? How's the money in your pocket? How are your investments? And how is your career growing? I hope it is going in a direction. Are you ready for tomorrow's gang if there will be? Although some people will have no doubts. They said there would be and there would be. So how is your business going to, pan out with all of that? Is there a business opportunity just because it's going to happen? I don't know. You tell me. So there all come anyways. It's Talking Figures. Chioma is my name. Chioma is Zenwafo. I'm your host on Talking Figures. And today, let's dive deep into the Japa phenomenon. And it's a very good time to talk about it. I mean, we have a protest where they're saying that it's the economic hardship that is the reason they are protesting. So let's look at the Japa phenomenon. And for a very long time, this fever has caught quite a number of people, especially the young professionals. We've seen them leave in droves, like they say. The doctors have left, the bankers have left. In fact, for a particular period, when the bank apps weren't working so great, there was this rumor that it was actually the Nigerians that were working in those departments that were leaving. And that's why they were having that lacuna that was now affecting their app. I cannot confirm any of what I just shared with you, but it just shows you how real Japa has been. And it's been for a very long time. And so when I think about it, I thought, you know what? Let's pause and go abroad in this diaspora. When they arrive, what happens? How much of the jobs are they taking up? More importantly, how are the businesses they are setting up there to thrive and how are they going? Are Nigerians winning? Are they leveraging their move to build global empires? Let's explore how Nigerians are turning their diaspora dreams into dollar-making realities. Are they doing it? Are we seeing people go from boardrooms in Lagos to maybe marketplaces in Manhattan, New York, and the rest of them? Is it happening? What's Japa done to business, global business? What has Japa in Nigeria done to, the global business environment? Is it even affecting it? Is it even shaking it? We're live on Facebook and YouTube at Nigeria Info PH. Yes, I would love to hear you. Tell me what you think about doing business in diaspora. Are Nigerians doing good, struggling, or barely meeting up? What's happening there? Yes, we're having this conversation today, and I'm having it with someone that is doing what I'm telling you right now. He didn't just Japa, he is also doing business there. And most importantly, hosting, he usually also spoke with businesses abroad and who are, running businesses. And so let's see what he's got to say. What's the reality that we are not aware of? And especially if you're planning to Japa, I think you should come close too. So you will know whether you should go ahead and become the chef you're planning to be over there. You know how they say, before you go, please learn all the skills. Is that really working? We'll find out in a bit. Yes, don't forget that you can share your thoughts as well on Twitter. I'll call it X now, right? At Nigeria Info PH. And on WhatsApp, drop your messages on WhatsApp on 0817. Where's my glasses? 0817-923-0002. You can also call 0817-923-0002. Oh, not the phone lines. Not calling now yet. Please just call the WhatsApp number. Drop the messages on WhatsApp. Let's not do calls now yet, okay? Because we have a lot to unpack before we get to the phone lines. So please drop your messages on WhatsApp for now. The WhatsApp message actually is 0809-030-6416. That's the WhatsApp message. If you have thoughts, ideas, experiences, use your someone your neighbor, you tell me. The WhatsApp number again is 0809-030-6416. What is it that we're doing with our Japa when we get abroad? Is the business, our businesses in diaspora doing well? Nigerians running businesses abroad, how are they faring? That's a conversation today. And on the show, I have a guest. He is a management consultant. I didn't mention that part. Apart from the part I just told you, he's a management consultant and he's a TV host. He's hosted the show we call Breaking the Coconut, where he talks to business owners. And the one thing, since he moved from Nigeria to London, The ones there have also been talking to him. Nigerians doing businesses abroad have also been talking to him. So we'll be talking to him on Talking Figures today. A lot of talking going on. Charles Umeh, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Filma.
Yes, thank you. How is London today?
Good. So when you say I have Japa,
did you know Japa? Did you know Japa?
It's called countdown. It's called brain circulation. So
okay.
it's sharing of the world is so big that we can't stay in one place. The idea is that
we are global citizens. Okay, let's experience the air over there. No problem.
Good afternoon.
Anyways,
good to hear from you.
Yeah, good to have you on the show, Charles. It's about time. But you know what? On the show, we have a tradition where we look at the big stories, about 3 of them in the world of business. You tell me your thoughts very quickly. I'm aware that those who Japa do not always let go. They still want to know what's going on in Nigeria. So I'm not even going to ask you whether you know that we have a lot going on or whether you know that we have a protest coming up tomorrow in Nigeria. I'm not even going to ask you. I know most times people even know more than us. 3 of us.
It's a global village.
Yeah, it has become. You guys made sure of it, isn't it? Anyway, so are you ready? This segment is called Market Watch. Are you ready for it?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Okay, so the very first story has to do with the telecommunication company that had to shut down, MTN. They had to shut down this week because most Nigerians, I don't know if you followed, most Nigerians woke up and their lines had been blocked, and some of them said they had already done the NIN linkage thing that they said now, so how come they still blocked their lines? So we had a lot of people go to MTN offices this week, and some of their offices were vandalized. I mean, especially in Lagos, people went through crazy on them. It was almost like the protest they were talking about was about to start from MTN offices at some point, and they had to shut down as of yesterday. And so today they said they're open again. Now, my interest in talking about this on the show is to look at the mandatory linkage of NINs and with SIMs, which was initiated in December 2020. And the idea was to enhance our security in Nigeria and ensure an accurate SIM ownership database. I do not know, I cannot tell, but honestly, when I spoke with some identification verification people in that space, they will tell you all these are just unnecessary. What do you think, Charles?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with them. So I know I've come in. I've been to Nigeria back and forth in the past 7 months, like 2-3 times, and we've had a complaint. The idea is that these processes are quite cumbersome. We're in an era where everyone wants an easier way of doing things, and the back and forth doesn't help the hardship. Clearly, is that Nigerians are frustrated, and when people are frustrated, what you don't want is really little things like this that will take them up. So this is not the right time to get into these conversations. There are better issues on the table, and if we have to juggle that with our SIMs going off and on, then somebody has to take the blame. So I agree that the process is longer. I agree we could make it easier, and the people taking and people going out on the street and trying to vandalize MTN office, as bad as it is, we understand the consequences is that people are angry, and actions doing that is very wrong. But at this point in time, I think it's high time we looked at making things easier for ourselves. Yeah,
for ourselves. And the reason why those in the ID, identity verification space think is really unnecessary, because they know. They are the ones that know. So if they tell you it's unnecessary, it probably is. Now let's look at the second story. Yeah, talking about NAFDAC, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC. They trained stakeholders this week. Is it this week? Yes, yesterday precisely. They had a 2-day program, and the program was about training and sharing knowledge, comprehensive knowledge. They say practical skills on various aspects governing active pharmaceutical ingredient manufacturing. They call it API. APIs are the essential components of pharmaceutical products responsible for the intended therapeutic effect. So many English, but very simple. They are training people so that we can start manufacturing our own. And this is very key because we have an in-house news, Charles, where people are complaining about the high cost of medical supplies like inhalers, insulins, And we had a pharmacist just on the news saying that it's time that we have the government look inward and train people, because, of course, a lot of the big farmers have left Nigeria. And since they left, we've seen this antibiotics go from 10,000 to 27,000. And it's been ridiculous to look at the high cost of inhalers. The users of inhalers rely on these things to live. So continuing to allow it to be that expensive, I think a 2-day program shouldn't cut it. We should do more than 2 days. What do you think?
True. I have a cousin that, interestingly, this is technically August. I knew how much we bought inhaler as at last year, and for me to know the price he spends on inhaler now in August is crazy, and that's like something that you have to. It's not something you decided that you think of saying maybe I would buy. It's like a mandatory. And let's not forget that there are families that they have kids, they have younger people that they depend on this. You can imagine how much they spend. So I understand very well that it's cost of dollar. It's there are several things around that is being imported. If we have local, if we have the like of local industries manufacturing it, no way this would help us. It's going to help us very well. So that's a good development if we go that route.
Yes, and more of that should actually come, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now the final story here before we go over to the big topic of the day, looking at the Japa syndrome and doing business in diaspora and how it's going. Let's look at the fuel crisis. I do not know if you followed, but we've had a fuel crisis in Nigeria. It's gone on for a long while. It's lingered, and now it has entered our Port Harcourt. When some of these things happen, it happens in Lagos, it happens in Abuja, and some other parts of the country. But when it enters PH, the reality kind of changes when you're reporting. You get what I'm trying to say? When you're reporting that it's happening in Abuja, they're buying 1,500, they're buying this. But now we've gone from buying 700 and something to, I think as of yesterday, I bought 870. What do you think about the recurring, this recurring decimal?
So it's a very sensitive topic, but the reality is that once petrol price goes high, every other thing goes high.
Yeah.
And there's no how we can't run away from it. Let's not forget the price in Lagos is different from the price in Port Harcourt, and the price in Port Harcourt is different from the price in Anambra, and the price in Anambra is different from the price in the north. But at the end of the day, this affects transportation for the market women. This affects our own daily lives, and whether we like it or not, it creates a bigger problem for us. So yes, it's a sensitive topic. Yes, it's. I think those are the issues that we're looking at when we're talking of when people are trying to protest. Those are issues that we're seeing. If this subsidy goes into these basic things, now it's a longer conversation. But if you ask me, I think it's one that is worth looking at. Yes, it is.
Well, we're going to obviously keep our eye on that and see how all of that pans out. A lot has been going on, actually, when it comes to what's being done. I don't even want to delve into that. We don't have time to delve into the whole Dangote back and forth. NNPC, federal government has just said that NNPC should go ahead and supply crude to Dangote, and then let's see. And
that news is good news. It's good news if they finally implement it. But the question is why it took them so long. It's good news if they finally implement it. But the question is why it took them this long to finally go that route.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a longer story.
Okay, that's it on Market Watch. And it's time for Insider Tips, where we are talking Japa fever and doing business in diaspora. How is it faring? Our guest is still here, Charles Umeh. You did quite well on Market Watch, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
So yes, amid the Japa fever in Nigeria, I thought to take a look at how the businesses of Nigerians in diaspora are faring. What does it feel like to do business in diaspora? The conversation starts in a bit, but first we'll go on a break. And when we return, I would really love to hear what Charles has been experiencing, not just for his own experience, but also for those he's been talking to on his show. Yes, he has a TV show, the Breaking the Coconut show, BTC show. Is that correct?
Yes, you are correct.
Yes, and he's spoken to quite a number of businesses who moved from Nigeria to abroad and had to start a business. And he's going to tell us how that is going. And of course, also hope that he shares his own personal experience as well. And of course, we're going to get tips as well. And then if you're planning to leave Nigeria and do what these other someone have done, he could also give you tips on what to do, what you shouldn't bother doing, and what you should prepare for. Yeah, is the one for. We'll be right back. And don't forget, you can drop those messages and the phone lines will be opened at some point. So leave your messages on WhatsApp while at 0809 030 6416. That's the WhatsApp number. We're live on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube, and you can drop your messages on Twitter as well at Nigeria Info PH. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. And yes, we are back getting right to it on the Talking Figures on 92.3 Nigeria Info. I'm still your host right here. Choma is one for that's my name. And we've been looking at Market Watch and all of the big stories, and we've touched quite a number of them. But now it's time to look at the big story. We'll call it Insider Tips. And the topic today is the Japa fever in Nigeria and how businesses in diaspora are coping, how they are doing. You know, when you leave Nigeria and you decide to move abroad and you go there and you start your own business, how has it been faring? So I brought in someone who's interviewed quite a number of business owners, Nigerians in diaspora, doing business in diaspora, talking to us about the reality. Now, he's a management consultant. Charles Umeh is still with me. Thank you so much for staying tuned. For staying on.
Thank you, Chioma, for having me.
Yes, he's joining me on telephone. He's joining me from London, so he's joining me on telephone. And the BTC show is an educational product inspired by his first book, Breaking the Coconut, which has reached over 2 million views, I understand. And he offers insights to emerging entrepreneurs. And I've seen quite a number of episodes, actually. And you're doing a good job, Charles.
Thank you. So
now let's look at the issues that are going on when it comes to Japanese. It's been there. It rises once in a while. Now, given the surge of Nigerians moving abroad, what specific business opportunities have you identified that cater to this, demographic?
So, firstly, how much time do we have? So I know the information to share with you.
We have about less than 30 minutes to have this conversation.
Okay. So I'll start. So, firstly, when it comes to, so your question is what businesses do
business opportunities
on the job. Yeah. So firstly, you see, when people travel, most of the times, with the big idea of trying to change the world, the first, it's a global village one. The opportunities are endless. However, most of the times, the first rule of engagement is getting into a new environment, is adapting first, getting to see what works, getting to understand the weather, understand the people. And most of the time, it takes a while for you to get used to a different environment. But after a while, clearly, what we're seeing, I think what started happening last year was when the Japa syndrome came up, when people were resigning. Like you go to work on Monday and your colleague is not telling you on Friday. He sends you a WhatsApp message and says, "Guy, I know they're around," and you're wondering, but we met on Monday. But it was clear. It was clear. One thing was very clear. It was a surge of brain circulation. Now, the difference between brain circulation and brain drain is that it got clearer that most of our skill sets were not just particular to one environment, that the world was quite global, and that once we harnessed our skill sets well enough, that it was easier for us to get opportunities in any part of the world. So we saw people traveling, and since they could pay for they paid for their education, they were able to fit into global environments, and that was the first step. Now, for those that are doing business, for most of the people, so for the BTC show, and when we started, we had aired in Nigeria for a longer time, with aired in DSTV for a longer time. So coming down, the goal was look at businesses that were thriving and look at Nigerians that came in to come and do their own business. Okay. And one very interesting thing we found out was that irrespective of the background, most of them, everything that finally prepared them for the big thing they are doing, the Nigerian environment really shaped them very well. So if you had a banker in Nigeria that was very good and finally came down here, he started seeing things differently. He started seeing his banking skills came up as a most top notch for him, because in the new environment, it's the same thing. Things just work better. But if you're good at your game and you're able to you've been able to, and everyone knows that this is what you do, then you start your own journey. But you can't run away from the place of apprenticeship. You have to finally understudy the environment, understudy people that are doing it well. And after a while, it takes a while, but finally once you hit the runway and you've started and people believe that you're what you say you are, you can't run away from in an environment like this. And it's an amazing and interesting journey. Yeah.
What are the most common challenges faced by these Nigerians starting businesses abroad?
So firstly is everyone accepting who you are, accepting that you're
not from around here.
Yes, what you see is what it is. So for starters, most of businesses abroad are not. The first thing you'd get to learn is that you've seen businesses that are 100 years. So what it means is that you can't. The challenge we had in entrepreneurship in Nigeria is that we had businesses. We keep saying that businesses don't last for more than the first 5 years of business. Is most businesses give up in the first 5 years. But the shocker is when you travel is that you get to see businesses that are 100 years, 20, 100, as in 100. And you now ask yourself, what really happened? What happened simply was that they passed it on. And you're not in a hurry to run away from tax, run away from everything that would have made you sell off your business and start afresh. The system makes it easier for you. So if this is what you say you really want to do, make sure you're here for the long run. So it's clear that those are the first things you get to see. Okay. But once you get past it and people believe that what you see you're doing is what it is, then you've started a journey. But very important, people, you finally have to get used to the lingua, the nuances, the what works in the environment. But if you've got the tenacity of where you're coming from, you can't live in Nigeria with no electricity, taxi following you up and down, and everything that is not working. And you finally find a system that works to an extent. You adapt faster, but it doesn't happen easily. For most of the businesses that I've got to speak, for most of them, the challenge in the beginning was, first of all, you don't start with zero amount. You don't start with £0 or $0. You first of all get into the system. Get used to some things, find the needs that are important, then see how you can bring in what works in Nigeria, what works in your part of the world, and finally have offers that are interesting to the people in your present environment before you now bring what works for you back in your own country. So it's not completely as easy as it sounds, but it's like a journey that once you are able to do the long run, and some people, the weather doesn't help all of us. Not everyone can, not everyone adapt to the weather immediately. So there are several of these things, but if this is what you want to do, be ready to do it. Be ready to be a student of it for a while, and the good thing is that if you're doing it, there's no going back if you're good at what you're doing.
Interesting. Now, what are the key factors? Okay, shall I even ask how much or how, I don't know how, if the data is available, number of Nigerian businesses succeeding there. Do we have a lot of them succeeding or struggling from your own perspective?
So from the little I've come together, it depends on when you've come around. So the first year might not be the best time for you to measure success. The second year might not be the time to measure success, because most of the times what really your first really trust you, because one, you need support systems, having local people that are doing what you're doing, or local people that are doing what you're doing, or find out the bread. You are going to adapt. Is that you've not been able to build. You need emotional capital, and I'm saying emotional capital. I'm very conscious emotional capital, and I'm saying emotional capital. I'm very conscious of this, because most of the times most people don't come from Nigeria with money and start business. Most people do finally that they come in on the study, work for a while, see opportunities and do it. So for most of them that come, that are flexible, that are willing to look at, okay, I could offer this and I'm willing to do this for a while. And tech is the good thing about 2025, 2024 is that your ability to understand most of the tech tools and meet people that speak your language is like a very, very determined force. That will take you to that next level. Meeting people that understand, like, and validate that this is, I know him, I know her, they speak my language, I can vouch for what they are doing. And you can use most of the tools that can take you from point A to point B. Yes, it works for you too. Yeah.
Well, interesting. Now, time to open the phone lines. Yes, 0817-923-0002. I'll need you to tell me what you think. If you know someone that knows someone, or you even have had to do it before, going abroad, starting a business abroad, or starting a career abroad, let's expand that a bit. What has that been like for you? Would you think that businesses, Nigerians, would be able to go abroad, start a business and grow the business and are doing well? What do you think about the Japa syndrome and doing business in diaspora? The phone lines are open, 0817-923-0003. That's the number that you can call also. You can also call 0817-923-0007. Yes, the phone lines are open now. I also have a WhatsApp message. Yes, you can drop your messages on 0809-030-6416. If you have questions for the guest, he's a management consultant and we can pick his brain for free, I tell you. Yes, when it comes to starting a business, you're leaving the country. I'm not even here to preach for and against. I am not interested right now, because people who decide to move have already decided. There's nothing I'm going to say on this show that'll make anybody change their mind. I doubt. Let's take this call now. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma.
Yes. Welcome.
Please, I wanted to do anything as a young man. If somebody wants to move out, can he possibly make out the chance for the person?
What do you mean by make chance?
Like, I have the money, I have everything. Can he give me a guy my food so that I can get there, get a job there? That's what I mean.
Oh, get a job abroad. Let me ask him, because I don't think he can hear. Charles, can you hear that question?
It was a bit faint, but if you speak up, I'll hear.
If he speaks up, okay. Let me see if I can take that up again.
If you could say what he said,
basically he's asking if you can help him get a job abroad. That's not your agency.
That's what I mean.
No, he's taking his chances. It's a good.
Yes.
He's asking the right question.
Yes. So is that possible? Is it something that is it even advisable to hope to be willing to? Is it okay to do that? I don't know.
Is it okay to get up? Is it okay for him to ask, or is it okay for him to get the job abroad?
Yes. Is it okay to get someone to help you get a job abroad? Let me even twist his question. But first, answer his own, because he called to ask it. He's still online. He's listening.
Online.
Yes.
Okay. The question is, can I help him get a job?
abroad?
Is that the question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting. Like, I wish I had the job to share with you, but it's fine. It's always good to. So no, but he's asked a very valid question.
Yes.
So it's always good for him to say what he has, and the idea is say what you have and say what you're looking for. Then someone could always point you to the right direction. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I wasn't laughing at my caller. Honestly, I wasn't. In fact, I love the spirit of Nigeria that just came upon this show right now. You know, when he called and asked straight up, Charles, in all the English,
that
can you
was
give
like-
me a job abroad? And Charles now
That's
goes,
being straight up.
yes. And
That's
that's actually a valid question. But then let's look at this. Is it even advisable? Because we have a lot of Nigerians who are claiming that they can give. I mean, you see a very big billboard if you come to the streets of Nigeria, people saying they can give these jobs. Is it advisable for you to look for someone who is claiming they can give you a job once you cross over? Is that even advisable to explore that or go yourself and find out?
So this is how I'll answer that question. Anyone can promise you anything, and it's most of the times it's someone that helps you see possibilities. However, I think this is 2025, 2024.
And there's something called the internet.
Yes. Apart from the internet, it's always good for you to ask questions, Google something. So even when people promise you heaven and earth, because most of the times we think there's some things you can't do on your own. There's some things that people would have to hold in your hands and lead you to some places. Okay. However, it's always best to find out things so that when someone is promising you heaven and earth, you figure out what part of the world heaven is and what part of the world earth is.
Okay.
So if it makes sense to you. So it's always good to find people that could help. However, it's good to find out things your own self.
Okay.
So that it makes the conversation easier for you.
Okay.
Someone promises you things like that. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, that's it. On the show, we couldn't give the job, or Charles, the guest, couldn't get to the job. The caller that just called, I'm talking to you now. But at least we could give you a guide.
Difficult. How would you say I couldn't give him a job?
but we need to be clear now. Now, why he couldn't give you a job, he was able to give you a guide on how you can go about it, so that when someone makes that promise, you know for sure how to go about it. Hello, good afternoon. Yes. Welcome to Talking Figures. We're listening.
Okay. Yes. I thank God for our guest. Because I was thinking that the whole thing would be too hard to start business in overseas. And it has given me a clue, because I have my 5 brothers. One is in California, one is in America. The other one is in Malaysia. And the other one is in Cyprus. But the one in Cyprus just left last year to go to school. Now he has gotten a job in a company. He schools and he does the job. And those my brothers, by God's grace, are excellently performing well. Presently, there's no one that doesn't have 2-story building in my village. They are doing well. Myself too and my family, we are also planning on how to live. Thank you.
Okay, now before you leave, are you planning to start a business when you go there or work? Are you planning when you get there to start a business, or you're planning to work?
Oh, I am planning to
get a job,
business, and also to work, because there's a possibility. Because I've asked them, they say they're working and also they're doing business.
Okay. Charles, did you hear the caller? Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
Did you hear the caller?
No, I didn't hear him.
Okay, I will just say he says he has 5 brothers. They've all gone abroad, and some are with jobs, some are doing business, and they are doing well. He says thank you to you for making it look easy. You made it seem possible. Okay, and that he's also planning to live with his family, to go abroad, and he's planning to do both, to start a business and also to get a job. Is that even possible, doing both of it? Do we have a system abroad that allows for Nigerians to do that?
To work and
also do a business? Yeah, not just school.
Yeah.
You're doing a job and you're also running your own business. Do we have, tell us about that.
So this is 2020. I keep saying this. I'll repeat myself again. This 2025, 2024, where it depends on what you want to do. The idea of business is business solves a need. So if let's not forget that yes, that's what normally happens. If I could solve a need that pays me well, that's business. So and the good thing about earning in different currencies is that once you convert it, it will solve several problems for you.
Okay, let's pick this call now,
very
Charles.
Possible. Yeah.
Just hold that thought. I like to take all calls. Okay, Emmanuel was calling in from Iwofe, and we've lost that call. Please call back. Apologies for keeping you waiting. Please call back. Charles, you were saying?
So, like I said, it's very. There's nothing. I think the Nigerian spirit is you could do anything. You could do anything. A Nigerian can do 10 things that are legitimate. So you could always offer your service while you also yes, it's very possible.
Now let's look at what the culture does to Nigerian businesses abroad. I mean, I've had to do a remote thing at some point too, and when you're bidding for some of these jobs, the moment you say you're a Nigerian, it could make or ma. Okay, let me just put it that way. I'm not even going to go into what that means, but let me just ask you, do you think that the Nigerian identity is helping the businesses being set up by Nigerians abroad? What do you think about that?
So it's an open secret. We are quite aware of what it is. But the good thing is this, like I said, we need more light. We need more people that are doing the right things to be able to help our narrative. So one of the reasons why I decided to have this conversation with Nigerians doing business here is that, so for instance, I met a Nigerian couple who started running a care home. A care home is like where you have the elderly people stay at the later part of their life, where they have where family is not around. And the good thing about their businesses to them is that they started this business from ground zero, and it's a sector that very few people own. Now, the big lesson for me while having a conversation with them was that it took so much of the being apprenticed for someone after a while and running it. And I told them three things. I said to them, I am happy for them for one, they represent the Nigerian brand well, because if you look at the statistics of Nigerians who own business and are doing it well, and to them, they felt that kind of business was a calling to them. So to them, they see it as their own mission, apart from the fact that it's a business. So to people like that, I would do everything in my own little capacity to help tell their stories, because at the end of the day, it's people like that help us that make it easy for you to know that there's a Nigerian that is helping me, that is making it seem. So there are several negative stories. It's an open secret. However, there are people that they have their own light and they are shining their light. So our work is to make sure that those that the lights, that have the light, that they're not just like hidden under the table, that we are able to raise the light up so they represent us and make us do well wherever they hear Nigeria. So that's the goal.
Okay, now what role can Nigerian government play in supporting the business of Nigerians in the diaspora?
So I'd like to be very practical. The government is far away. Looking for the government most of the time is like, whenever you call the government, it's like you finally made it difficult for everybody. The government have their own responsibilities and it's up to them. However, I would always look at what in the diaspora, most of the time, the decision is, apart from the fact that you want the consulates to do some things right, which is things that they will do. However, for those, I'm more concerned about the people that are in business. And my take is always for the people that are in business to be able to do what they say they will do. Because apart from in a global world, so let's be practical. For instance, the good thing about the Chinese business man and Chinese abroad is that they have some support and some things from the government, and that's China. Maybe Nigeria is not in that category. However, for the Nigerian businessman that wants to do business abroad, the constant conversation is that your promises are what it is. that that you say and do what you say you will do, and that you don't do a business for 2 or 3 years and close it down. That you do it for a longer period of time. So we have so we could create more longer businesses compared to what we have back home here.
Do we have a lot of Nigerians who are looking to leave Nigeria, and rather to leave abroad and come back to Nigeria because I prefer what I was doing in Nigeria? Do you have a lot of that going on?
Sorry, I didn't hear you well.
Do we have a lot of Nigerians who went abroad, started a business, and now they're considering packing up and coming back?
Yes. So what we forget to understand is this: home is home. So I keep saying. So when we talk about in the beginning, I talked about brain drain. There's something called brain circulation. Most of the reason why most people would travel is because they found out that their skill sets, they found somewhere that will pay them more, that will appreciate them more, that would help them grow in their career. Most people have a map and say to themselves, after XYZ number of years, I've worked, I've grown in my career, I've done some things, it's time to go back home. Most people don't want to stay back abroad during winter. Some other people want to stay in SARS, and they were like, the experience made them not want to come back home. But after everybody wants to. There's that simple, if I get some things, I want to go home. People back home. So that's what it is.
Now, let's look at the Nigerian economy. How can we ensure that doing business abroad can build successful global cities contributing to Nigeria's economic growth?
Actually, yes, you more incentive for people to manufacturing business. Finally, Nigeria. So, and that's how it works.
Okay, now we're going to go on a short break, just a very short break, and then when we come back, give us your final thoughts, Charles. Yes, you can call in and also drop your messages. There's the WhatsApp message again is 0809 030 6416, and the phone line 0817 923 0002. You can also call 0817 923 0003. So we're going to go just on a very short break, and then we come back, we wrap up. Okay, let's take this call before that break. Hello, good afternoon. Lost that one as well. Yeah, you can call that break.
With a